Well, hello, and thanks for watching another episode of News of the Pews, where you can count on unapologetic 2A advocacy. Gun rights are human rights. New Hampshire's state motto is live free or die, but apparently Hillsborough Deering High School didn't get that memo. Most people know government schools don't need probable cause to search a student, but what a lot of people get wrong is thinking that means administrators can search first and invent reasonable suspicion later, if ever. They can't. The schoolhouse exception lowers the threshold, but it does not erase the Fourth Amendment. Schools still need an individualized reason to believe the search will uncover evidence of a crime or school rule violation. So what exactly did Hillsborough Deering High School have on 18-year-old Jack Harrington? A threat? A witness who saw a gun? A picture? No. An eavesdropping coach heard Jack telling a friend that during an earlier traffic stop away from school, the cops didn't hassle him over the handgun he lawfully kept in his glove box. That was it. Days later, administrators pulled him from class and demanded to search his truck. Their theory seems to be that lawful gun ownership creates reasonable suspicion the gun is everywhere the owner happens to park. Jack repeatedly said, "I don't consent," and his parents refused too. But the district claims he consented because he eventually said, "Okay," after staff browbeat him for nearly an hour before finally just announcing they were gonna walk out, open the glove box, and take a picture with or without his consent. But the principal and vice principal both testified that refusing would have meant automatic suspension. That is not voluntary consent. That is coercion. It's compliance under threat of punishment. They searched the truck, they found nothing, and now the district has just asked a federal judge to dismiss Jack's suit, arguing both that his coerced okay amounted to voluntary consent, and at the same time that the school could justify the search even without reasonable suspicion. In other words, well, first, he gave us permission, but second, we didn't need his permission anyway. Friends, there is no lower form of life than a government bureaucrat. Live free or don't, I guess. But hey, it would be impossible for me to produce quality 2A propaganda without you. So before I get to the part about how I'm trolling control freaks today, a quick reminder that News of the Pews is a one-man newsroom. I research the stories, write the script, record the show, edit the video, and occasionally remember to sleep and eat. And I do all of that without corporate influence. Mostly because nobody has offered to pay me, but still, this channel survives on support from viewers like you. So if you're in a comfortable place right now, please check out the shirts, mugs, stickers, and magnets at the links down below and of course right here. If you're not in a comfortable place in life though, don't spend money you don't have on stuff your family doesn't need. Just enjoy this 2A propaganda at the price of free fitty, share it with somebody who needs corrupting, and keep praying for us. A lot of normies heard about the Supreme Court's ruling in Wolford and assumed it forced Hawaiian businesses to allow guns. It did not. It upended the default presumption that guns are banned, but a business that wants to prohibit carry simply has to actually say so now. So what does the Brady bunch do when the government can no longer make that decision for every merchant? Well, apparently it starts giving away free signs in a passive-aggressive attempt to get businesses to trample on our rights. Naturally, I requested one to be shipped to the law firm helping them run the program. Now, I don't know if Davis Levin Livingston will notice that they're shipping signs to themselves, but if Brady wants to spend donor money manufacturing one and mailing it to the people assisting them, I'm not going to stand in the way of progress. Neither do I know whether they'll ship one to me in Arizona, but there's one way to find out. In completely unrelated news, the Control Freak law firm also has a public Google profile. Now, to be perfectly clear, if you have never hired them or dealt with them, you should not leave a fake review, and I could get in trouble if I encouraged you to do that. But anyone with genuine experience is obviously free to describe it honestly. And that same Wolford Supreme Court decision could have influenced the DOJ to finally stop defending the post office carry ban. So can you carry at the post office now? Well, as with many legal issues, the answer isn't clean. The DOJ filed an unopposed motion to abandon its appeal after a Texas judge held the federal bans are unconstitutional as applied to ordinary post offices and postal property. The permanent injunction protects all current and future members of SAF and FPC nationwide. It does not repeal the statutes for everyone, and the case excluded post offices on military bases or at places where the government provides armed security. However, how could a cop possibly know if you're an SAF or FPC member before arresting you? And of course, state and local laws still matter as well. So don't hear this as green flag racing. Also, if you go conducting legal experiments based on something you heard from a PewTuber, you probably eat gas station sushi. But with that said, in practical terms, it also means the DOJ isn't likely to have a lot of will to prosecute people over this. And as always, concealed means concealed. So do as you will. But the post office isn't even the biggest court win in the last week. I'm sure some of you have already heard that the Third Circuit struck down New Jersey's assault weapon ban, and most people are going to hear that and think this is a New Jersey story. It is not. But how much damage did this ruling actually do to the control freaks on a national level?
Good question.
The full Third Circuit reheard the case en banc and ruled 10-5 that New Jersey cannot ban the semi-automatic rifles it labels as assault firearms. The court also struck down the state's 10-round magazine limit. This is the first time a federal appeals court has invalidated a state assault weapon or magazine ban. And because this came from the en banc Third Circuit, it does not stop at the Delaware River. Federal courts in New Jersey, Delaware, Pennsylvania, and the Virgin Islands are all bound by this decision. Of course, Delaware will claim its nearly identical ban is somehow different. The Virgin Islands will also probably say the same thing about the rifle and magazine ban its drug czar unilaterally passed without any authority less than a month ago. Pennsylvania doesn't have an assault weapon ban. But does that mean every petty tyrant immediately got the memo and nobody carrying an AR will be arrested? Not at all. There will be more motions, more orders, and more government employees pretending not to understand plain English.
More booze, more bullshit, more butt f***ing.
Sure, the 3 Bs.
They might still harass someone, put him in cuffs, and force him to hire a lawyer, but after this ruling, he's unlikely to end up in prison merely for possessing the rifle, and once the dust settles, it will be fully legal to own and transfer ARs in the Third Circuit. The court did send the pistol and shotgun bans back to the trial judge, though, because the evidence and arguments focused mainly on rifles. Those categories now have to be evaluated separately under the same framework, but there really isn't any timeline where the same analysis produces a different result for pistols and shotguns. So yeah, New Jersey will appeal, Delaware will pretend its law is special, and every other gun control state will insist this changes nothing, but the Supreme Court also granted cert to a separate assault weapon case, meaning that no matter how you slice it, assault weapon bans are about to lose very, very hard all across the nation. Well, friends, rounds complete on 2, but before I get to your moment of completion, I'd like to remind you this program was made possible by contributions from the William H. Crocker Foundation, E. Senior, Ozark Pilgrim, Squirted Glizzies, and viewers like you. I love you.